What are we doing here? Oh, there
We're
we
going
go.
live, man.
You're getting pumped and ready to go, huh?
I'm pumped. What's up, guys? This is Keith Kelfis with the Untrapped podcast. We're here with Naylor Taliaferro, the lawn care rookie. Bro, you're in Virginia right now. The weather,
Yeah.
it's beautiful, right?
Yeah, man. It's 80 degrees and spring has sprung a long time ago. It's a spring rush like weeks ago. So I just been running and gunning, man. It's a little
So,
earlier than usual.
so you have your own lawn and landscape business for, I don't know, over a decade or longer. You are the dude who, I don't know, was this back in 2014 or something? We did the GIE Expo and Geek to Freak. They're like, dude, let's just have a meetup at this like friggin' pizza place. There was like a few of us. Then the next year there was more. Then we had to get a bigger place. And then we were just going to dissolve it and stop doing these meetups down in Kentucky where these lawn and landscape guys got together in this camaraderie. And we would talk about business. We'd hang out, pizza, a couple beers, whatever. And just strengthen leverage our businesses through community, right? But we were going to dissolve it. Like nobody wanted to keep it going because it was just, I don't know what it is, man. But you came in and you took over that shit, and now there's like thousands of people, and every year you made it stronger and stronger, and you went and you found sponsors and financial support, and now when you go to Kentucky in October 18th through like the 22nd, you walk into the Equip Expo after party. It's like there's like so many people. And so, dude, you are the networking genius. You're the networking expert. You know everybody. I love your personality. It would be called well, I won't get into the 4 different personality types, but you're so calm and so present. And you even came and when you did a podcast tour a few years ago to my neck of the woods, and we did a couple podcasts together. And you're just that dude, man. Naylor, the lawn care rookie. What's up, bro?
What's going on, man? That was quite the intro, man. Jeez, thank you. I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what else to say, man. I will just say though, just so that people know that are listening, the whole thing about the rally, like how it evolved or how I got involved was because the first time I went, which was technically the second year that you guys got it together, but it was just kind of a handful of you guys, like you and Geek to Freak and a couple, or like maybe a half a dozen or so folks, if you remember. I remember him telling the story when he was like not feeling good, and you were like, come on, all this stuff, like this whole epic story that I won't go into, but that was the year that like only a few people went. And we were all watching the few videos that you and Geek to Freak and whoever else was there put out. Some of the folks aren't even, putting out videos anymore in lawn landscape, but I watched the video just like anybody else, and I was pumped and wanted to go. I just couldn't go that year because it was my first year in business, and I didn't really have any time to save up money, but I was planning for the next year. So when I went, the technically second year, but that was kind of the first official year, right, of I guess what everyone remembers of the rally, because that's when you and Stan and B&B Lawn Care and Geek the Freak and everybody was there, and it was probably like what 70 people, 50 to 70 people. There's
I
still room to
counted there
play
was
corner.
78
There you
people.
go.
So for
Yeah,
quick context,
and there was that picture that you took too. Remember that picture of us inside? We could all fit in there.
yeah.
Well, go ahead. What were
For
you gonna
quick
say?
context, Geek to Freak, which is one of the original lawn and landscape guys who really got into the YouTube thing and started blowing up, and now there's like thousands of channels. He's like the OG. He started inviting people. He's like, let's just do a big meetup, like a landscape community YouTube rally meetup. And this must have been like 2014 or 15. And even when I walked in, I was like, whoa, there's a lot of people. And I walked up to Greg, who's Geek to Freak. And people say, like, who's Geek to Freak? We'll save that part for another time. But he was a little like anxiety. Now, he's a brilliant dude, but he was like, I think he felt like he had to like entertain all these people. Like he's like, whoa, a lot of people showed up, and he was a little anxiety. So I was like, dude, come here. It's because I was super into meditation and had gone through some really
Right.
tough stuff in my life. And I got into meditation and box breathing and like awareness. I was like, come sit in the car real quick. I'm like, just breathe in, count to 5. Exhale, stress and tension in through your nostrils, and just relax. And we breathed for like 4 or 5 minutes straight. And then all of a sudden he was just like totally calm and present. He's like, bro, I feel a lot better. And then
That's
we went back into
exactly
the
what it
party.
was.
And then
Yeah,
he
that's
made a
exactly
video
what
about it.
happened.
He made a
Yeah,
I'm watching.
exactly.
So it's funny, man,
Yeah,
when you put
so
your
yeah,
heart out on the
yeah.
internet. But what's up,
For
bro?
no, yeah, for sure. So that's how it all went down, and I was like stoked. So when I went that next year, I was hooked, like because I met all you guys, and I had started a YouTube channel right around that same time frame anyway. So it had been going on for about a year, I think. So going to that next, you know, meetup, some people actually knew who I was, like from YouTube, other than you guys and whoever I connected with through social media. Like, so it was like a crazy experience because I wanted to meet all the people that I had watched and followed along that helped me in the first year of my business. So I was a fan and I had fans, you know, and it was like a weird dynamic for me. And I just got like hooked on like the whole experience. I was like, man, I don't like it was so impactful for me to be able to be surrounded by so many like-minded people and listen to their stories, and they all knew my story, or the people that watched me knew my story, and there was just that cool connection without even having to like have like a one-on-one face-to-face conversation. That someone following you on YouTube as you share your story over the years, or in that case a year, all of a sudden you meet them for the first time and you're like best friends almost. And that kind of connection, that energy is something that you cannot explain. You have to experience it, and that's why live events have really exploded for our industry and our community. And it all started with that, especially for me. I was hooked. And then, you know, some people kind of like did different things, like Geek the Freak went on different things and so on. And I remember like emailing you or something. I was like, "Hey, are you going to the GIE this year?" And you're like, "Yeah, yeah, dog, let's do it." And I'm like, "All right." And I asked Stan the same thing. He's like, "Yeah, of course." And I'm like, "All right, well, are we still going to meet up at Pleasure Ridge Pizza?" That was the name of the place. And you guys were like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Well, shouldn't someone maybe tell them, because there's probably going to be a lot more people, because I had created a Facebook group for the GIE, like for all of the fanatics of us Road to the GIE, so that we could all, you know, just be connected together and have one line of communication, you know, post whatever we want to post, where we're going to be, so on and so forth." And I put an event for the Pleasure Ridge Pizza meetup, and that's when it really started to take off, because we had like 150 people show up or something that year. And it was like there was no room inside, outside. It was like leaked into the parking lots, at the sidewalks. There's just people everywhere. And I was like, man, we're going to need to take this to another level and maybe get some brands to pay for it, because once you leave a restaurant, now you have to pay for the venue, you have to pay for food for the venue and all that stuff. So I'm like, this is a little bit of undertaking, but let me see if I can reach out to some of the early brands like Echo and so on, that had really bonded with the community and connected early on. So that's how it kind of all started for me. I was just really like impacted by that experience, and I didn't want to see it die. I just wanted to see it. I knew it was growing, and I wanted to just help that growth. And I didn't want people to not be able to go. I was getting messages that year that people couldn't. They drove up and they got anxiety. You know, there's a lot more people than Geek the Freak, than Greg, that, you know, have anxiety just in general. I mean, it's a ton of people in the world, but even in our industry, there's a lot of anxious feelings with so many things. So a lot of those guys felt the same thing, and they were driving by and they saw all the people everywhere, and they kind of freaked out. And they're just messaging me like, "Hey man, I don't even know where to park. I'll have to catch up with you tomorrow at the expo and stuff." And I was like, "Oh man, there's got to be another way." So that's how it all just has grown over the years. So that was the shortest version of that story.
Yeah, dude. And definitely when you meet people in person that are in your industry, if you're just getting started in your business, or you've been in, because I think about it this way, if you're in your first 1 to 3 years, you can go meet people who have been in 5, 6, 7, 10 years all across the spectrum and have conversations with them that'll close the gap and compress time for you inside of your business. Just one powerful conversation, you can leave change and go implement and have something different happen in your business because you got around the right people. And then you can get to the point where you've been in 3, 5 years and you've been in the trenches. And now you find yourself face to face with someone who's just getting started and they're all anxious and they're like, "Bro, I'm afraid to leave my job or go full time in my business." You're like, "Bro, you got this. You got this." And then now you speak life into somebody else and they leave change. So it's a nucleus. It's getting around. Sometimes we have negative or toxic people or just people who don't understand or relate. But when you get that many people together, whether it's 5, 10, or 1,000 into one controlled environment where everybody's on the same page with the same hustle mindset, it's live events is where your life gets changed. So I look at the power of not only this online community, but also how we go and meet up at live events. And it's so important. And you've been really the protagonist for that. You've been making that stuff happening. So what is the drive that you have to do that? Like what makes you so passionate, and what are some of the events happening in the future that you're planning on?
Well, one, I forgot to I forgot to mute my phone. Sorry about that. But two, I actually just recently talked about this because I haven't actually thought about this, and no one's actually asked me this for some reason until recently. You're like maybe the second or third person, so maybe it was just this is just the right timing for me to be explaining all this. But I hadn't really thought about it until those questions. And what I really think it comes down to is my childhood experiences. I'm an only child with a single mom, and I only had a couple select like best friends, and like that was it. Like I didn't have this huge nucleus, as you would say. I had a big extended family, but I never really, they were kind of an hour away or so, and we only really saw them for holidays and stuff. So I had a lot of cousins that I had a great time with the few times I got to hang out with them and stuff, like over the summer or whatever. But that was few and far between, that I was really just like the Lone Ranger. I was just like this solo, only kid just doing my own thing, just, figuring out life. My mom was working like multiple jobs, trying to make ends meet. And, a lot of times I was just on my own, especially the older I got, and she knew that I could take care of myself. So I didn't have that nucleus. I didn't have a whole bunch of friends and a dad and, or siblings and, all this stuff. So I feel like maybe there was a desire, a deep down rooted need for that inside me that I didn't even know existed until I connected with this community. And then I was like, holy cow, like something inside me just really connected with the community, the lawn landscape community, as if they're my friends and family that I didn't know that I missed or was in need of. And so now that just makes me passionate to continue to help the family and help our nucleus grow. I've just been connected, and I don't want to be unconnected. I just want to keep doing whatever I can to keep making more events and more opportunities to connect people and bring people together. I mean, I've met so many people locally just because of social media that I would have never even met before. Of course, yeah, sure, some of us might have passed each other, and thrown up a wave or something, like all of us on social media are that same kind of mindset where we're not throwing shade at people when they drive by, other lawn landscapers. We're, giving a wave or a nod, maybe even stopping and chatting at the gas station, like, oh, I like your setup or whatever. Those are the exact same people. The people that are throwing shade are not even on social media, or if they are, they're the haters. So I just ignore all those people. But so my point is I would still have connected with some of the local people that I saw, but there's so many local people in Virginia, the whole state of Virginia, and then maybe within 30 minutes to an hour from me that I never would have seen, obviously, because we're not anywhere in the service area. There's no whatever, but because of social media, we've connected and we've gotten together. I had like 12 different Virginians come to my house a couple years ago when Paul came up on his podcast tour, and we had this epic meetup where we just podcast all day. I grilled burgers and chicken for everybody, and we had a great time, and they all connected with each other. And I met them and they met me for the first time in a lot of cases. They checked out my setup because I brought my truck with the ramp rack loaded up with all my stuff, my daily setup, so they could all see it in person instead of just on the videos. And we had a great time. That I live for that kind of stuff. Like I really think it's that that whatever, that childhood or whatever need that I just never really had that experience with, that I think is what really makes me want to keep having those experiences as much as possible. So that's how I could sum it up. And
Bro,
and I just think that my course of life in retail management before lawn and landscape, I was doing retail management for 15 years, and you're a leader by default because you're a manager. So being in management, it's leadership, and I learned a ton of leadership skills. And I already have, like you say, that they're kind of like a natural calming personality. So like I don't spaz out on people all the time. When things are crazy, I'm cool and calm and collected and come up with a plan. Of course, we all still get frazzled sometimes, but it's very few and far between. And I was that leader that people could look towards and rely on. And so I think all that carried over to this community, coupled with my eternal need, or whatever you want to call it. You're better with the different words and all that stuff, but that deep down, rooted need for me to want to connect and be a part of something bigger.
Bro, I want to acknowledge you real quick. I asked you a question. I was like, so what is it inside of you that made you want to do and become? And then you gave this very deep, vulnerable ass answer. You're like, bro, in my
yeah,
childhood and this and that. And here's
that's
what I
how I
want to
am,
say.
dude.
Some people might look at that and get critical. Like, what the hell is this guy's talking about on a live stream talking about his where's the value? Listen here. You're the type of dude, like people that are highly, highly driven and do epic shit. When you actually ask them a real question, where did it come from? Listen to what they said. Your experience is the catalyst and the reason why that gave you the drive to do this, and now it's literally affected and changed by the butterfly effect lives of, I could say, hundreds of thousands of people, because people that come to the events that you create get their lives changed. Excuse me, I'm fired up. Bang on my mic. And then they go home and they change other people's lives, and they affect, and all these things that happen, that stuff that you can't even quantify, happens because this dude Naylor Taliaferro had this epic dream, and it came all the way down from that. Like I'm a huge believer in that. So what's some live events coming up? So
Yeah, so I'm kind of just been, every year I come up with new live events. So we're in the beginning of 2023. So we just passed an event called Sync. So I either create events or I participate and help them and help the events. So I was just at Synced Live in Atlanta, which is a relatively new event. It was only its second year this year, and it's like a mini trade show, but it's all about bringing together the design, build, and maintain sectors all together in one conference, one trade show, which typically that's not the case. It's like separated all these different, categories for each specific thing. So it's all about education and bringing everybody together. And, I thought there's a lot of great opportunity there, a great story there. I got to know the owner and everything. And I was there with Paul Jameson and Jeremiah Jennings, and we were doing our podcasting there. And I started Pod Row. So where we have like a whole booth area, a whole bunch of booth space set up just for us to podcast, and we interview all the keynote speakers, the panelists, all the attendees, everybody that is anybody from at the conference and from the conference. We interviewed on our podcast. So I haven't even gotten to those episodes yet. That's how many in the bank I have from all the different events that I've had or been to. So that birthed the new idea of, let's continue this pod row trend where we can go to different trade shows in the industry or adjacent industries and have pod row. So the next one coming up is in August in Nashville, Tennessee, and it's called the Huge Convention. And it's a service industry convention that they want to be the premier service industry convention. So having anything and everyone.
Yeah,
so you know the deal.
In Nashville,
there you go.
Bro. It was epic, bro. It was such a cool thing.
Yeah, so they want to get more lawn and landscapers to come and on all other different service industry, because primarily, as you would know, that's probably why you were speaking, window cleaning, pressure washing, they're heavy on training and talking about that, but they want to really grow that into the entire service industry. So this year they're really making a push for lawn and landscape. So they contacted me and I said, hey, let's do Pod Row there. We can help promote the show. You can give us booth space. So they're giving us 5 booths, like literally an entire row, Pod Row, just bang, just me, Paul Jameson, a few other local podcasters that they're bringing in from the pressure washing.
I'm going to be there. I'm already on the roster. I'm going to be there.
Oh, you are? You're speaking again? Or doing something.
I'm pretty sure we already talked about this. I can't say for sure, but we just had already talked about this is going to be an ongoing thing. So I already know I'm selling tickets, so I'm definitely speaking, or I wouldn't be going. So.
Sweet.
I didn't mean that. I just meant
like no. I know, right? Like it's definitive. Yeah, I gotcha. Well, then I look forward to seeing you there. That's going to be epic. So we're going to have Pod Row. We're going to just be there podcasting away. Yeah. So that is, as you know, because you podcast as well. That's the newest form of medium for me, of just trying to share my story and interview other folks in the industry to get their stories. I did do this effectively with my YouTube channel, Get to Know the Pro. There's a couple different seasons and playlists where I literally went to you and other folks all over the industry and all over the country and hung out with you for the day or two and looked at your shop, your setup, business, wherever that was specific to each person was different. Big companies, small companies, everywhere in between, and interviewing and all that, which that's all great. But the podcast space is where we can really deep dive into the conversations. Not everyone wants to sit around and watch an hour-long YouTube video unless they know it's like a podcast and it's like with someone super famous or something. It's a little, it's a little more challenging. So podcasting was the next evolution for me to be able to do that. So that's just another way for me to share these stories. So when we go to the trade shows, instead of making these long YouTube videos, we can make short little clips of our podcasts, and people can go and listen to the full episodes, and we can really share all this knowledge to everyone in the industry and the community so we can help it grow. So those are some of the newest things. But of course, we have Equip Expo, right? That's coming up again in October. That's going to be here fast and furious before you know it, obviously after August, but that'll be the next big thing. We have Influencer Live on Thursday morning, which used to be called, it used to be called Influencer Live. Now it's called the morning show at Expo. So now that's like a permanent thing that the Expo has, where we podcast live on stage and we interview folks such as yourself.
Live on stage?
Live on stage with a live studio. Yeah, with a live studio audience. So they get to, John Pajak has a mic and he goes around and people get to ask us questions, and we record 3 separate podcasts. So I start with my podcast and interview somebody right there live. We have 25 minutes each, and we usually interview for about like 15 to 20 minutes, and then we let the audience ask questions, and then we stop the recording. Kohler plays their commercial. We swap the whole stage a little bit, move people around so that Caleb Allman does his podcast, the Kid Contractor podcast. The intro plays. It's dope, and he does the whole thing, and he interviews his guests, and the audience gets to ask questions. And they're like clapping and cheering. We're talking to the audience, and you can hear them all in the background. So when you listen, so then the people that are there get to actually experience podcasting live and be able to ask the guests questions. How many times have you been listening to a podcast and you wished somebody could ask a question that you want to ask, or they asked the question you wanted and then they got sidetracked and never actually answered the question, and you're like, oh man. But when you're live in the studio audience, you can just be like, hey, you can just have a good time and be a part of it and really be interactive. And I think that's a cool dynamic there. And then, of course, we upload the recorded episodes for the people that couldn't make it to the live broadcast, and they can hear, and they hear everything in the background. They hear the audience, and you feel like you're literally there. You feel like you're at the live event. So I thought that was a real cool, I thought that was a real cool idea to get Equip involved. They reached out to me years ago. We started developing a relationship, and they wanted to be connected to the community. They knew how powerful it was, because they started hearing about, the rally at the Mega Caverns at the time, and how many people were coming together at, Thursday night after the show and all that. So they want to be a part of that. And I'm like, well, let's create your own event. How about that? We'll do something at the expo. So that's how Influencer Live became a thing. You remember the very first iteration was the live panel, when you and Stan, everybody was up on stage at some room of the top floor that we didn't even know existed back in 2019. And we were up there, and everybody was, and Paul Jameson was in the audience, and he was the one passing the mic around for people to ask questions. And that was the very beginning, and it was still standing room only. And they only put like 100 chairs or something out, or a couple hundred chairs or whatever. And we were just trying to promote it at the last second, and we threw it together, and it came out good. I remember you were so excited. You were running laps around the room before we started.
I was just thinking about that, and I didn't want to say it.
You were so pumped, man. I came in, I was like, yeah, man. You got with the tech guy, and you like put your phone or something connected to the speakers so we could just be jamming to some music, and we were all pumped.
Playing Eye of the Tiger. I took my phone and I put it on the microphone, the loudspeakers. So there's no sound system. Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go, man. So that's how it all. Yeah, that's how it all started, man. That's how that started.
We'll be driving home, and I'll get down on myself a little bit, and I'll ask my wife. She's real clear-headed, because I get so excited at live events and anything that has to do with any of this stuff, bro. It's my dream that I become unloosed. I'll start running around an event and doing push-ups in front of everybody, like what up, dog? Let's do this.
Yeah.
And then after the event, I'll be like, oh shit, do these people, do they want to kick me out of the event? Like, I think it makes some people feel uncomfortable, bro. I'm
Well,
sorry in
those are
advance.
those are probably only the people that just don't know. Like they just don't know you. Maybe like the brand new people in the community, and it's all good. They'll get it. They get it fast. That's you. That's your personality. Everybody has their own thing, so that's what it's all about. But yeah, that's how it all started. It all started with the live panel on the stage, and then everything has evolved. Other conferences, other shows, everything's evolved from there. And then I incorporated the podcast live instead of us just sitting up on stage just chatting back and forth. I figured let's do some live podcasting. We haven't done that before. That sounds like fun. So we evolved that over COVID. I had a lot of time to think, and I had a podcast and all that. So I'm like, hey, let's get some podcasters together and create Influencer Live, like I explained, and now it's been so successful that Equip decided to make it a permanent part of the show and rebrand it to call the Morning Show at Expo. So that's what it's going to be in October. You're going to be there. You're going to be a guest. We're going to have a phenomenal time. It's like you're going to be mind blown the production quality level that we have now, because Kohler sponsors the whole event. So we have a nice budget, and we just make sure that everything is top notch. Like, I mean, I'm talking high professional level. Equip's got it down pat, and it's every year it's standing room only. Last year they were rushing around to get chairs from other rooms because there was double row standing room only, wall to wall, and they were just
everything you're
rushing to
talking
get
about
chairs.
right now, just for clarity, is going to be at the 2023 Equip Expo in Louisville, Kentucky, October 18th through 23rd.
Correct. Yeah, and the morning show at Expo is going to be Thursday morning. That Thursday, so at 8 a.m.
I'll have links to all this stuff on my website at keithkelfis.com/events. keithkelfis.com/events is where all the events that I'll be at. And then do you have a like a Facebook group or anything, people, so they can learn more? Or
well, for as far as Equip, they go to the road to Equip is what it's called now. Road to Equip on Facebook. As soon as you type road to, it'll probably come up, because we've got like 3,000 people that are only obsessed with Equip. That's a lot of people for one group for something so niche like that, right? But it's a lot of people that are all about Equip Expo. So that's where you can get all the info, past, present, and future for Equip.
Do people have do they get any type of discount when it comes out? Do you have a promo code or something?
So the morning show is free with registration. It's a free event, and so is the rally at Thursday night. So Thursday is the big day for us now. So Thursday morning, before the expo even opens at 8 a.m., we have the morning show at Expo. It's epic. Like I said, last year it was standing room only. It was packed. I got there at like 7:15, and there was already people filling up the chairs. And I looked at Evan from Equip, and he just looks at me, and I was like, he's like, this is a good sign. I'm like, I'd say so, because we're always nervous, how things are going to go, right? When you're planning events, you want everyone to have a good time and feel like they got value. I mean, it's free, but still, I don't want people to waste their time, or feel like they waste their time. We want to give the most info and the most value we can. So at any rate, yeah, so that's free. You just need to register for the expo and have your name badge. That's it. So that's free. And then the rally at night, which is out of the Equip Expo, has nothing to do with Equip. It's not sanctioned by them. It's just the fact that we're all at Equip. So let's all get together and hang out at the rally, where we have 600-700 people showing up at Copper and King's Distillery the last several years, which is basically like everything I could have dreamed of. From the beginning, I wanted to just make Pleasure Ridge Pizza bigger, because I like that whole vibe, inside, outside. I like that whole vibe, but I couldn't find anything at the time. And then for whatever reason, I didn't know about Copper and Kings. And then I figured that out during COVID. And I think that's a great venue. There's so much space inside, outside. It's a great time. Big fire pit. And again, that's also free because of all the brands that partner with me that are involved in it. And they're all there, like Echo's the main sponsor, and they're all there with their tables, giving things away, whether it just be swag at the tables. Some of them sometimes give away, like last year, Echo gave away a whole starter kit, the 9010 backpack blower, a 2620 trimmer, some, ear protection, some gloves. I mean, you're ready to go, so they gave that away because we have raffles there. That's free. It's all free, all by the brands. Just having a good time.
Chill and put my feet up. This is great. Keep going.
Well, I was just trying to clarify for the audience, that you don't have to pay for any of that stuff. It's all free. It's all brought to you by all of us working hard to bring value to the community.
I love it,
But
man.
yeah, all that equip information is all in Road to Equip. And you can of
Road to
course
Equip on
follow
Facebook.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can of course follow me if you don't. Lawn Care
Where?
Rookie on YouTube and Instagram. You can just follow along, and I'm always posting stuff there. So
I love it, bro. Okay, so in August, the huge convention in Nashville, Tennessee.
yeah, that's different. You have to pay for that, just like you have to pay for Equip, but it's obviously a different pricing structure there. So you have to go to that website. That's a whole other thing.
So stay tuned for that. KeithKelfis.com/events. I'll have stuff about that. And then the Road to Equip Facebook group, or I'll have that on my events page as well, either or. So you can learn about in Louisville, Kentucky. And then the Equip Expo after party, which is at Copper and Kings Distillery in Kentucky. I know I feel like we're promoting it right now, but hey, why not? So, but
I mean, it's free, so it's not like we're trying to make anything out of it. My whole thing is, I just don't want anyone I felt really bad the first year that it blew up after I got us all. I remember Stan said when he introduced me to his wife for the first time way back then, he was like, hey, this is the Lawn Care Rookie. He's the one that finally got us organized. He got made like an actual event with the address and got it all planned out. And I was like, oh, thanks, man. I felt like that was a pretty good compliment from Stan, So, but yeah, that after I did that, it blew up. There were so many people that knew where to go and came, but people felt like they couldn't go because there really wasn't enough room for all the people. So I just felt really bad, and I was like, man, I need to figure this out. Like we need a bigger space for sure. And I think Echo at the time was there, and they were like, because at that time a couple of brands like Echo came just to hang out because they were like, what is going on here? They got some wind of it, and they came and they just hung out and they gave away some swag and stuff too, and they were like, you're going to need a bigger space next year. Maybe we can help you out with that. And I was like, oh, and light bulbs went off. And that's when in February, I was like, let's put your money where your mouth was. Let's go. Let's see what we can really get accomplished. And it's just gone from there. But anyway, I just don't want anyone to be left behind. So that's why I'm always promoting it, because there's literally the day of, on Thursday at Equip, there will be someone that you will meet because every single person I meet, I'm like, are you going to be at Equip tonight or tomorrow or whenever, if it's depending on if it's Wednesday or not. And you're going to be at the rally tonight, and they're like, what's that? I kid you not. There will be at least one person that have never heard of this epic event, free to network without all the craziness of Equip. Because Equip is like your brain is on overload, because it's like all the equipment, all of the brands, the demo area, and all of the people and the networking, right? So it's really overwhelming. It takes multiple days just to try and process what you're experiencing. So the rally is a way to separate yourself from all that and just get together with everybody and just hang out. You don't have to worry about equipment or anything. You're just hanging out with each other and kind of decompressing the day so far, and just having a good time, maybe connecting with people that you met on the internet and so on social media. So that's why I'm so passionate about it, and that's why we're promoting it, because it's free. And I don't want anyone to be left out, and miss out on that opportunity. If you're going to be there, you might as well come. So,
I love it, bro. Hey, I bring my dogs there, and I was walking around with my little Yorkie, and I just walked up to you. I was like, here, hold this. And then I walked away, and you're like sitting there holding my dog. You're like,
yeah, I remember that. Oh, yeah, that's funny that we're talking about this now. What? Because at the time, I didn't even know what happened. I'm just like, I'm a dog animal person anyway, so I just went with it. And plus, it's not like you're a stranger, so I'm not like, who is this person handing me this dog, So what was the story behind that?
It was impulsive. It was funny. I was walking around holding my little Yorkie, which is like my little baby dog. Seriously, I have a codependent attachment to this dog. It's crazy.
Oh, and you handed the dog to me.
I went through a severe depression in 2017 because I worked like 90 hours a week for 5 years straight, and then my business hit this plateau, and I felt like a zombie just dragging my corpse, which was my own body, to work every day. And the only reason it was horrible. And then in the depth of it, I was just laying in bed, and my wife comes home with this little Yorkie, and then she she was just watching it because she rescues dogs, and then they found a home for the dog. And I was really upset because I don't know where I'm going with this, but let's keep going. Hey. And then I was really sad. And well, that's just the way things go, because within instantly this dog was jumping and playing with a squeaky toy and like growling, and I'm laughing my ass off, and I'm like, I love this dog. And the next thing you know, I guess the lady who took the dog couldn't keep it because she works like crazy hours, and the dog was left alone. Like, we'll take it. So it cost me like only like $1,100, and I think it's like a $3,000 dog. We got the dog back, and it's just like, and I bring the dog everywhere. If you come to a live event, it's kind of weird, bro. I literally, so I just walked up to you and I was like, you were talking to a group of like 5 people in full blown conversation, and I just said, here, take this. And you went, okay. It was funny, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good times, man. I'm glad you entrusted me.
I do trust you, man. Strengthen your business by leveraging community is the title of this live. Did you see that when you were coming in? Because we had talked about.
No, I didn't. I just came in completely blind and just full of passion and just came. I mean, I just ran. Just hopped in the truck after blowing off a property real quick. It was like, I'm running a little late. Just give me a few minutes. I'll be there.
So you're
yeah,
out working right now.
Yeah, I'm in the truck just chilling. I mean, obviously I'm not working, but I was, and I just shut down real quick so I can hop on the old live stream,
Dude,
running
I'm
and gunning.
obsessed with marketing and frameworks and communication and messaging, and I'm like, what can I title this live chat or the name of this podcast if the lawn care rookie is going to be on here? And I thought about what you do, and I said, well, community. And I was like, well, what are some words that are very powerful? Strengthening your business by leveraging community with Naylor, the lawn care rookie. That's exactly what you talked about, Dowg. Hey, let's get to a couple comments real quick.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, I'm ADD, man. I go off the rails. If you see me live in person, I'll be talking to 5 people, and I'll just drop on the ground like in a hallway and start cracking my back. Oh, I got to crack my back. You're like, what the fuck is he doing? Here, the boring channel.
You probably know, because you probably know me enough by now that I'm totally good with that. I roll with it, man. I can get us back on topic. I can remember stuff. I can roll with you. I can just go down rabbit hole after rabbit hole. That's just me, man. So it's all good. We get together and go off the deep end sometimes. We get all lost in the weeds.
I love that. Thanks, man. You're enabling me. So the boring channel. What up, Doe?
What's up? What's going on, Juggernaut, Kevin? Ain't nothing boring about the boring channel. He's blowing up, doing good things.
Alex Anakin, creamy chihuahua sauce. Okay. Breakthrough Masonry. He says, what's up?
What's
up? Ain't no rookie anymore, says the boring channel.
Yeah, that's what everybody used to say. So I started saying rookie for life. I'm working, so I don't have that hat. I normally have it in the back seat, but it's just awkward when the guys get back there and they're like, what is this? Like, I try to keep the whole YouTube thing separate. I'm not over here, like, hey guys, I'm a YouTuber too. Like, we're just trying to get our lawns done, and have a good time. But rookie for life is what I call myself, because yeah, I'm not technically a rookie at lawn care, but I'm always learning stuff. I'm always learning new things, either by default or on purpose, with intention. So I'm a rookie for life. Just keep learning new things.
I love it. Fatty says, go mow some lawns, Keith. I got out of the field and I'm going crazy. So, but this year I'm going to be going back into the field and doing more work because I'm going crazy not being in the field. And I love throwing on headphones and actually doing the physical work. So I want to do a little bit more of that this year. Last year I was in the field like maybe 2 hours a week doing work in the field, and I was pulling my hair out. I thought it would be so cool to get out of the field and like I would be free, and it's like just putting on a different pair of handcuffs. So yeah, it was an illusion.
Yeah, that's what everybody thinks, I think, until they get to that point, and you just have to figure it out for yourself. So some people can't stand being in the field and they can't wait to get out. Some people realize after that maybe that they need to find maybe like a balance. Maybe there's some things that they can do in the field, and but not everything. It's just that's why all the things that we talk about on social media, it's not a one-stop shop. It's not a one size fits all. Like, that you got to kind of take bits and pieces of things, people's stories and experiences and setups, and incorporate them, if you will, however it works for you, because it's not going to be for everyone. It's not always everyone's goal to get out the field and be the, behind the scenes guy. So some people, like you said, like you, get stir crazy, and you got to get out there and get your hands dirty and show some guys, some stuff. And me, I would always want to lay down some stripes and, have a little competition with the guys every now and again and stuff like that. Like, I enjoy that kind of stuff. I don't think I would ever not want to mow a single lawn ever for the rest of my life, other than just my own. I think I would, like, a part of me would die slowly. So I have to always incorporate that somehow. It's very peaceful and meditative too when you're not like stressed out about it, and you're just out there just one with the lawn, cutting the grass, or laying pavers, or planting trees, whatever it is. Everybody's got there's so many different facets to this industry, and everyone has their passions. But when you're locked into that, you kind of like just zone out and just you're just kind of one, and you're at peace in that moment, and you're just doing your thing. So like I would miss that if I didn't at least cut some lawns. I don't know what I'd have to pick up something to do something else to get that same kind of meditative, zen without meditating, without meditating. Like, I just really enjoy that work aspect of it. But again, it's different for everybody. So you got to figure out what's good for you.
If that's your zen, then hire an office manager, or at least a receptionist, so somebody can answer the phone and do the scheduling and manage the payroll and the invoice, seeing in the accounts receivable and payable, and make sure that because what I put myself in was I have a receptionist and then a crew in the field, but I put myself in administrative hell where I'm on the phone with the unemployment insurance agency for an hour and a half figuring out why the filings weren't done in time. And I'm on the phone with my payroll company, like, what the hell is going on? Like, they're like, oh no, don't worry, it'll be fine. And I'm back and forth. Okay. So like stressing over nothing, when I'd rather be in the field being a driver, or at least be out there co-creating and doing a ton of sales. And like, I don't know, that's my own plateau.
No, I get it. Yeah, no, I get it. But I 100% I agree. That's why I'm saying there's something for everyone. Like, build a team around you and do what you enjoy the most. So, because being an admin or whatever is not your strength. So why force yourself to do it, right? So,
Mr. Tidy Garden from Ireland, Damien, what's up, bro?
What's up?
Thank you, sir. Jesus Aguilar, I see you all the time, bro. Hella from Pennsylvania, what's up? Each one teach one. On my way to a small rip out job. I did a couple estimates today. It's been good. What's up, Keith? Blessings, big dog. What up, Doe? What up, Doe? Godfather.
So it ain't spring for you guys yet up in Michigan? It's still cold and a little dreary up there.
It's like 41 degrees today and partially sunny. Yesterday it was rainy and freezing. And it's about 20 degrees colder than you guys. So I mean,
yeah. So April's when the grass starts growing pretty much for you guys?
It's starting to turn green now. We're already booked out with jobs and the phone is ringing, and I'm doing my Monday quotes already, and we're filling up the schedule for an official start date of April 1st. The reason why I do April 1st is because, again, in the past, I've made promises to come out in March. Then all of a sudden we get a random snowstorm, and I already start the season out pissed off because the schedule is getting backed up, and I'm making promises to customers, and now just the scheduling chess game is a.
I agree. When it comes to cutting that grass, though, you have no choice but to cut it when it's growing. Otherwise, you're going to be in for it, triple cutting stuff, and nobody wants to do that,
Oh, bro,
and especially if it's not the customer's fault. If it's your fault because you just waited, like you can't charge the customer like, oh, you're making me cut it. Like, no, you made yourself cut it. You waited. You could have cut it weeks ago, But so that's a little bit of a slippery slope sometimes with the maintenance game, trying to figure that out.
I cut grass for 15 years and we bagged almost everything. And I'm talking like we're cutting foot-high grass in the rain. I'm not exaggerating. You can cut maybe a 5 to 7 foot stretch very slowly. Then you got to stop, make sure the blades are off, dump the bagger, then reach and like unclog the chute, cut another 5 to 7 feet because you're so far behind. And we would just be out there until dark, soaking wet, and like this was like all the time. And
that's crazy.
But what was amazing about those times? I was
What's
listening to
that?
audiobooks like Wayne Dyer, Zig Ziglar, Deepak Chopra, stuff about meditation, getting into like The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, and just I'd be in a completely like in freezing my ass off, soaking wet in the rain, cutting foot high grass at some apartment complex, and I would just be smiling in Zen mode and feel like my spirit is just almost like outside of my body. And I was like this observational experience of like just observing Keith. Like I would be in complete bliss as if it was heaven on earth while doing something that totally sucked. And those are some of the greatest times of my life. And when I look back, was it really happening in reality? No, it was happening inside of me. So therefore it was my reality. And when you change the way you see things, the things you see change. And that's why I think that pain is necessary. So
I agree, man.
I'm just looking through the comments here. What up, though? Somebody said something super inappropriate. It wasn't that inappropriate, but if you say anything inappropriate in the comments, I'm going to look at it. If it's a joke, I don't care. That's fine, man. Freedom of speech. But if you say something messed up in my comments, I'm just going to block you. So sometimes people are, I understand, like immature and they just say something to get attention. But like I look at this as a very professional thing and a professional feed. So if you say something that's like discriminatory or something that's like degrading or disgusting, I just block you. So I'm just warning you. Let me see here. What's up, Rodney? Thank you for the thumbs up, sir. Starting a business, 17, window cleaning business. Congratulations. You got this. Can I have your email if I have any questions? Is that for Naylor or for me? You can hit me up at the Untrapped Podcast, untrappedpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, I'm assuming that was for you because it was, I believe, the same dude starting off 17, window cleaning.
I also have a course on my website at keithkalfas.com. Go to keithkalfas.com and there's an entire free training on how to start a window cleaning business. It's the first thing you see. It's a 3 free training videos. It'll give you everything that you need to know to go out and actually make money for real. And yeah, keithkalfas.com. Mac M4N. Bro, I see you all the time in the comments. I appreciate it. You've always been supporting and encouraging, and you always come and say things in the comments that are like, boom, like he understood what I was saying in that video, like my intentions. Okay. Well, I want to respect your time, bro. You're out on a job site working. You're hustling, making money. I thank you so much for coming on my show on the Untrapped Podcast. I got to do some paperwork myself and some quotes. And anything you want to wrap up with?
Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it. And hopefully everyone got some value out of it. And I always enjoy talking with you. There is potentially, well, not potentially, there is another one of my events that I'm creating called the LCR Media Summit, but that isn't official yet, the date or any of that stuff. I'm trying to rope you into it as well as being a part of that. But that's why I didn't really go into too much detail. But so if anyone is following me on Lawn Care Rookie on YouTube and or Instagram, then as soon as that information comes live and all the details come out, then you'll know. But that's going to be an epic non-free event because it's going to be the most value that you've ever received at any event you've ever gone to, guaranteed, because I've been to and done a lot. So it's a way for me to incorporate everything. I've been wanting to do this since 2019 actually, and then COVID happened 2020, kind of put it all on the back burner, and I had a lot of time to think. A lot of other people did different events and still ideas that weren't done that I want to do and bring together. Pretty much everything that I do, the hint is everything that I've been a part of and that I've created will all be at the summit, one epic event. So little hint there, and it'll definitely be worth your time and your money for sure. So stay tuned for that.
And what's your podcast so people can check it out?
Yeah, the LCR Media Podcast. Every Tuesday and Thursday we have live uploads, interviewing folks such as yourself and talking about my trials and tribulations of my business as well, and helping everybody grow as we go. And it's all the platforms everywhere, Spotify, Apple, everywhere that podcasts are available.
Yeah, dog. All right, man. And hope to see you soon. Thanks everybody for joining, for hanging out. And I think it's today Friday. Yeah. So
It is. Have a good weekend.
That's it. And Monday, who do we got Monday, man? 1 second. I got to say it now because people are asking me. We've been going live like every day at 4 p.m.
Nice.
Sorry, give me 1 second. I got to get my phone so I can look at my calendar.
Oh, good old Keith. Why doesn't he have his phone with him? What the heck?
Because we just had we just did a podcast with Tommy Mello from A1 Garage Door. Built a $200 million company. It's insane. We did a podcast with Corey Ballard. We had Brian Fullerton on. We got you on. We had Paul Jameson on yesterday, and he was talking about you, and here you are, which is awesome. And then we got Thomas O'Halloran from Six Figure Landscaper Monday talking about the cash flow purgatories and growing through tough spots in order to grow your lawn and landscaping business. He's got $1 million business. Then we got the Lawn Care Nut coming on Tuesday, 4:00. And then we got Sean Langton from Cujo Yardware, like each day at 4 p.m. Oh, knocking out.
Nice.
I'm fired up. I need to go climb a tree, bro, and cut down a tree.
There you go, man. Yeah. Cut down a tree, fire up a chainsaw or something. Go, do something. Grind down a tree stump or something.
Dude, the next podcast I'm gonna have on a boom headset, like it's a helicopter, but I'm gonna be in a tree with a chainsaw. Like, what up?
There you go. There you go, man. For real. There's all kinds of technology nowadays. You can just podcast literally on the go.
I could literally have like a thing hooked up to me with the camera, like a whole contraption.
There you go. There you go. Looking like you're filming the Avengers movie, and you're like in a green screen, and you have your little suit and all these little things all over your face with the cameras all around your face so they can capture all your facial expressions. So when they input it into the computer, that would be you.
Dude, I would sign up for that shit.
Nice. All right, man. You have an awesome weekend. I will catch up with you later.
Peace out.
All right. Thanks.